Hello, welcome to Just Not Career podcast, where we unravel the unconventional, challenge the status quo, and explore the fascinating stories of individuals who've forged unique paths beyond their traditional career trajectory. Join us as we dive into the realms of passion, purpose, and the pursuit of a life less ordinary. I'm your host, Nancy Gitonga, and together we'll navigate the inspiring narratives that prove that there's more to life than just a conventional career. Thank you for listening to my last episode, and it's been overwhelming support. And today I have a new guest. She's called Wangui Kimaru, and she'll be able to take us through her childhood dream, what she's doing now as a career, and everything in between, including how the career is playing within her social life. Welcome to the studio, Wangui.
Thank you very much. What an honor it is to be here today. Asante sana for hosting me.
Karibu.
How are you feeling about doing a podcast?
I'm feeling good. I'm happy. You're my second guest. My first episode went well. I'm happy for the support that everyone showed me, for the sharing. And yeah, you're my second guest today. And I'm happy to host you.
Excited.
Yeah.
I'm happy to be here.
So, take us through your career journey and how I want us to play it. Just tell us what you wanted to be when you were younger, when you were a child, and are you what you wanted to be? And if not, tell us what you are right now.
Okay. So one, I wanted to be a doctor. As it is with most African children. Okay, well, maybe I might be biased. I think many people wanted to be doctors. In fact, by the time I got to high school, I used to write my name as Dr. Wangui Kimaru. I knew, in fact, I wanted to be a pediatrician. And most of my friends, like people that sat next to me, all of us wanted to be doctors. I mean, like, it was just different things. But one a cardiologist, another one sijui what. But sisi ndio tuko. I am not doing medicine anymore. Okay, at all. I didn't even start. I'm not doing medicine. I currently work in an NGO and I lead the impact department. Basically, it's the department that measures impact. And yeah, how's the organization doing in terms of numbers, in terms of stories, and communicating that.
Okay, so let's start from the beginning.
Yep.
And when I say now the beginning, tell us how you... Okay, not how. Basically, tell us what you studied. In campus.
I did economics and statistics. I'll tell you for sure, I was clueless about what that course is about. In fact, the first time I learned about what economics is when the lecturer explained. In fact, I've never forgotten. Like, it was that memorable. Like, economics is the study of scarcity of resources. Never forgotten. But the reason I went for statistics is because when I discovered I don't want to do medicine, basically because of a space I volunteered in, and I was like, working with human beings when they're not well is not something I see myself doing. My second interest was around mathematics, but I didn't know if you love maths, what do you become? So I went for an open day in Nairobi Uni, learned quite a bit of things around what you can do with mathematics, but yeah, ended up being interested a bit in statistics. And then when I was applying, I saw economics and statistics. I'm like, I don't know what this is, but it will have a little maths, so let's do it. So that's how I ended up doing economics and statistics in campus. But even though I didn't know what it is, I enjoyed the coursework, and more importantly, I think it opened my eyes to the career path I took. So in the final year of campus, we had this group work, and the group work was look at the Millennium Development Goals. You can already tell how old I am. Anyone in the NGO space knows those ones came to a close around 2015. Imagine, I was in school when they were still operational. And pick one and design a project around it. And my group picked maternal deaths and that whole conversation, and we came up with a really good project around what can be done to reduce maternal deaths. And one of the things that I discovered when we were doing that project is that maternal deaths in Africa were really high. And when it came to Kenya, it was especially high in Northeastern. Back then, I don't know about the statistics right now, the average maternal deaths in Kenya was around 365 women. So 365 women out of 100k women die either during giving birth or like maybe 45 days after giving birth because of the pregnancy related cause. And when you compare to countries like Germany, where it's 3 women out of 100k women, we were doing pretty bad. But then someone got data for just Northeastern Kenya, and for Northeastern Kenya it was 1,000 women out of 100k. And the young me thought, they have been waiting for me to be born to bring a solution, to bring this maternal deaths down. And so organized a trip. We went to Northeastern. We were hosted in a certain community. And during that week, I got to learn quite a bit of why the maternal deaths were really high. And a lot of it has to do with the culture and how they perceive hospitals. I mean, like FGM, quite a bit. And honestly, I left there feeling overwhelmed and knowing I cannot solve that problem. So I came back to Nairobi very humble, but then it introduced me to community development and wanting to solve problems that I see in the community. And because at the time I was a DJ, and so I had a source of income that was enough for transport and airtime. That's all I needed at that age. It allowed me to do community work for quite some time.
Okay. So after campus, and also you've talked about DJing. How long did you do DJing?
Oh my gosh. I started DJing after Form 4, but I think I started earning a bit nicely for a 21-year-old when I was around second year. Yeah. Then now from second year, I did that for like maybe 5 years.
Okay. And then now after campus, you proceeded with DJing?
Yes, I did DJing on the side as a side hustle. Ideally, that was my source of income, and then community projects on the side. And then did a lot of my community projects in Northeastern. So, and it like I remember those days so fondly. I love it. We did some things in Dadaab. We did some things in a number of communities there. Pretty much just fundraising for maybe a school, getting some desks, maybe doing a medical camp, but just picking a problem, coming together with a few people and doing something small, not really fixing the whole problem, but contributing to it a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then now after campus, and then now you were able to speak about your career.
Yes.
And then the transitions between 1, 2,
the next.
3. Yeah, that's if you never changed your...
Oh my gosh, I changed so much. I left community, like that one, for traveling and doing things for a week here and there. And I worked for a rehabilitation center called Teen Challenge. And it's interesting because I had never been an addict. They were really employing pastors and counselors. I was neither. It was such a good place, and I feel like that space was helpful to build my character and who I am. Worked there for 2 years, and then I started feeling the pressure for, hey, I'd gone to school, I better use this degree. And everyone around me at the time, my friends who had graduated with, I felt like, wait, now they have like 2 years of experience. I still don't have corporate experience. So left, got a job in an organization that does leadership training. Premium. It shocked me and showed me people have money based on the amount of money that people are paying for training. It was a complete mindset shift, coming from a place of, if you can save and just buy for us a few things to take to Garissa, to the cheapest program that organization had was a 3-day training for 100K. And I thought, wow, Nairobi, people have money. And I worked there for 6 months and I was fired.
Sorry.
Yeah, but it was very interesting having that conversation around, oh, you're a good person, but you're not a good fit for us. I'm like, okay. And crying and leaving, and then got another job still in the same area around leadership training and a certain coach, worked there for a couple of years, and then left and stepped into now my current job, which is the NGO world, which is the favorite part of all the work that I have ever done.
Nice. And then now, in between the transitions from one job to the other, are you able to talk about what are you doing in between the transitions?
Yeah. So between all those transitions, I'd do either of two things, or maybe the both of them at the same time. Number one is figure a way to get extra knowledge. So be it an online course, be it going back to school for something, developing knowledge. The other one is volunteer. Sometimes you can apply for work and it just takes a while. And one option is you can stay in the house and pity party, but usually it doesn't change anything. So yeah, you can volunteer. You might not have the money, but at least you're networking, you're learning something new, you're building your CV to ensure it doesn't have gaps. So in most of my transitions, because I don't think there's a transition that I had that was, you're living here, going here. Most of the times I'd leave an organization not knowing exactly where I'm going. So usually it would take me a couple of months before I'd find the next gig.
So in the transitions, which one is the longest one that you've not been able to get a job between one and the other?
Interesting. I don't know, maybe like I don't remember the very first ones, how long it took. But like in the last two, it's usually like a 6 months break.
Okay. And then now you build on your CV and then do other things that, like building your skills, basically.
Yes.
Okay.
And also like taking time to rethink, why didn't the previous place work? Because you see, there are places I quit because I felt like I'm not a good fit for that space, maybe because I don't enjoy the job. And even then it's taking a space and thinking, why didn't I like it? In applying for the next job, what don't I want? And for spaces that I was fired, is then to think, okay, why did they fire me? Like one of the spaces fired me because of a competency issue. I was not good at sales. And then I took some time to think, okay, maybe I'm not good at sales. Also, I don't want to get good at sales. So now I know if anyone tells me this job includes sales, I tell you up front, I'm so sorry, that's not something that I actually do. So either we can negotiate from that perspective, or we just know we are not a good fit for one another.
Okay. Okay. And then now in this current job, just tell us what you do exactly, and then your day-to-day job, and how people are able to know how they can get a job like yours.
Okay. I do many things. I thoroughly enjoy working for small organizations that allow you to stretch your mind and sort of like try everything. I feel like when you work in a big organization, your job can just be you get this email, you forward to this person, and that's all you do from morning to evening. And the beauty about small organizations is you receive this email, you figure out what they're asking for, you solve it. If you can't solve it, maybe then ask this person. And I feel like that's my current organization because it's not so big. So basically, we contribute to poverty reduction by working with vulnerable communities to get them to become self-sufficient. So how can they become the solution providers for problems that they're going through at an individual level and at a community level? So if you don't have a job, okay, so now who are you waiting for? So you start the job. You start something that you can do. What steps are you taking? If there's a problem in your community, maybe around security, okay, you can wait for police, or you can figure a way to start building that security. So I started off as a trainer, and it's my best part. As you can tell, I enjoy talking. So I started as a trainer, and it was very interesting because I've grown up speaking Swahili and Sheng, but training in Swahili and Sheng was, okay, lovely. Let's do this. Let's learn. Let's discover. Also learning, Sheng has changed quite a bit. So aside with that, and it's like community training. You go to the depth of the community, find the most vulnerable people, and then you train them. And then also grew into doing partnerships. So partnerships in terms of, are there people that would be interested in providing pathways for growth for the youth from these communities that we're training? And so doing some events here and there. And then now moved into impact department. And impact department basically is collect the numbers, analyze the numbers, tell the story of what the numbers say. Yeah, pretty much. So I think even now, I feel like I'm still on a growth path of discovering in this whole NGO space. And what am I really, really good at? Because I enjoy doing all these things, but what do I want to grow in? And I'd say one of the things that I have observed for someone who wants to get into the NGO world is there are so many different causes, and it's to identify a cause that aligns with your personal conviction. Personally, like even if I was not employed in this organization, I'd still want to contribute to poverty reduction. So I'd say find a cause that you completely believe in. There are people that I sit with, and when they tell me what they do in the NGO, I'm like, Allah, I don't know. But maybe that's something that's like you're very interested in. And what would it look like to start aligning yourself with those organizations? And then number two, I've also seen people who thrive are people who become so good at a specific skill. So in the NGO world, you'll find their project managers, their comms people, there are fundraisers, they are, like all those groups of people. So it's to, I think, also start learning and sharpening your skill on one thing if you can. If you can't, I think project management then allows you to do a lot of those things. So I think for someone who wants to get into that space, that's the way.
And then also just give us a small snippet of your day-to-day job.
My day-to-day changes depending on the project, depending on what level we are with the project. So for example, if we are at the initial level of the project, probably a lot of my time will be spent engaging partners. And engaging partners can be on email, it can be taking them around in the community, it might be hosting them in the office, it might be meeting them where they are, it's getting them to sort of see what we are doing, see if they are interested in working with us on that journey. If the project is ongoing, then you'll probably find me training and being out in the community. And then towards the end of the project, you will find me probably leading the team around data collection and story collection and analysis and report writing and all those things. But you will find more often than not, you're not doing one project. So in a given week, you might find on Monday, I have a data review meeting. On Tuesday, I have a partner that I'm meeting. On Thursday, I'll probably be out in the community training or collecting stories. So usually my weeks are not the same. Very few things are the same. It's like on my calendar, it's maybe like those weekly meetings with your team. Those are the ones that are consistent. Everything else is really, it depends.
Okay. And then also, in this current job, are you able to share with us the challenges that you faced?
Yeah. I'd say one, at a personal level, it's been that, like figuring what am I really good at? What do I want to grow in? Fine, I'm doing all these things right now, but should my contract come to an end, like what will I apply for in the next job? So the same advice I'm giving you about, okay, what's your specific area and how can you grow in it? I think that's a challenge that I have been working on in the last 1 year, just figuring out what am I really, really good at? What do I want to become super good at? At a general level, I'd say, let me start with at an organizational level, I'd say fundraising. I've found that in this world, there are people whose project is doing so little good, but they are such good communicators. And so when they get into any conversations, the funders just like, yes, you can have my millions. And I think I've been trying to learn, okay, how do I communicate in a way that someone says, I want to give you my money? So yeah, at a general level, I'd say that. And yeah, I think the other thing has been like learning the language, the lingual of the NGO world. I find constantly there are things I'd do, and then someone will be like, oh, that's use decolonizing language. And the first time I heard that, I was like, what does that mean? It's that you don't have to say, oh, so we came into this poor community and helped them. You're not the savior. Those people are participating in making a difference in their own lives. And I think it's been that adjusting to language, especially how we have seen it on TV and in the media, to actually wanting to contribute to being a positive voice in how we portray our communities, even if they are low-income communities. Because I feel like, for the longest time, people show us terrible photos of Turkana or Mogadishu. But Mogadishu has some of the best beaches.
Yeah.
And Turkana is beautiful. And so it's being careful as Africans who are working to reduce poverty in Africa to not continue narrating the same story that, the outside world has been paid. Like, you don't want to be a contributor of painting a negative image of these communities. And I feel like that's been a big challenge, because sometimes it's in that language can get you money, but also you have to stand up and be like, no, I actually want to be a positive voice when portraying our country.
Okay. And then for like what you studied in campus, does it anywhere marry to what you're doing right now?
Very, very little, I'd say. I think the point of campus is to sharpen your brain and just to get you to understand concepts like maternal death and and really, but I'd say right now a little bit in terms of the statistics, the numbers part, but you'd find what I learned in class versus the application is so different. And so nowadays I find myself in conversations and I'm like, oh, I remember us having conversations around sampling and N equals what? And then I'm like, oh, that's how it is actually used in reality. Because also I feel like for people who are in a technical role, like people who do impact and people who are in impact departments in the NGO world, being technical is good, but not always helpful. So a lot of my job usually is, there's a very technical report, but break it down to a language that everyone would understand. So I find like understanding the technicality bit has been because I have some background in statistics. I think if I had never been in a class in statistics, I'd float terribly. So it's nice when people say correlation. I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that. But yeah, that part a little bit. The rest of the things, honestly, I feel like there are things that have come as a result of personal development, whether through coaching or through group sessions or through like experience. I feel like leadership is not anything I was taught in school. Leadership is things I've learned from organizations I've worked in. It's from how I was led before, and then I'll be like, oh, that leader used to do that, and that used to really work for me. So when leading a team here, I want to do the same.
Okay. So in this current job, are you happy with where you are right now?
I am super happy. I am really super happy. It's the best job I've ever done. I just pray they get more money so that I can also get more money. But I love it. I enjoy my work. I enjoy going to work. It doesn't feel like work, honestly.
So how does your career right now or your job right now work with your social life?
One, it's such a great fit because I love people and I love humans and I love talking, and it's been such a good fit with just who I am as a human being. And so because of that, I am very aware that maybe some of my friendships are suffering, because then on Saturday and Sunday I'm like, okay, I don't want humans around me. But yeah, I think it's been easy. I can't say it's taken me away from people that I really care about, but just like anyone else who is now in their 30s, you discover, oops, you don't have time for 50 people in one weekend. So yeah, reduce the number of people I can meet, but I don't think it's because of work. I think it's just because of growing up.
Okay. The other question, because you're almost winding up, is tell us about your best moments at work and also your worst moments at work.
My best moments are every time I go to like maybe collect a story or meet a group of people and just see progress on how they're breaking poverty cycles and how they are making money and doing community projects. I met a young man who saved 50 bob every day, went to the bank, got a loan, started a business for selling women clothes. And I look at that boy and I'm like, you're 20. Like, you're 20 years. How have you figured out life that quickly? But yeah, it's usually those stories when I hear someone who was in crime and they're like, hey, after this class, I figured I'd rather not be a criminal and find a way to actually make legit cash. And they establish a business, or they find work, or they bring groups together to start solving a problem in the community. I met a guy who reclaimed a piece of land that was like people used to throw trash and made a playground for kids and planted trees, because he said, I don't want kids in Dandora to only know a dump site. I want them to also know trees and fruit trees. And yeah, I think those are some of the things that make me come back home and I'm like, it's a good day. It's a good day. It's a good life. What's difficult, I wouldn't say the worst, but I say what I don't enjoy is doing reports and that's not exciting. I don't enjoy sitting and having to write things, but
so it means in your CV there's nothing like attention to detail.
No, I'd be lying. I don't like detail. I like big picture.
Okay, we're almost winding up. So what are the things that you're grateful for in this job or in your career life?
One is, I mean, throughout my career, I think it's been the gift of meeting amazing human beings. Some that shaped me, some that I was very willing to be shaped by, some of the ones I hated being shaped by. But looking back, I'm like, I'm so grateful I met that woman or I met that man. Because I wouldn't be where I am if I had not experienced the leadership of those people. I think also I'm so grateful that the experiences I've had in all the work has contributed to clarity, and I'm bearing the fruit of being clear of what I want to do with my life in my current role. In my current role, I'm grateful because I feel like I'm contributing to making a difference in the world. Okay, that sounds very grand. I feel like it gives me a sense of meaning and a sense of purpose, and I'm super grateful for that. And the experience to explore, I think it's been a beautiful organization to let me sort of sample doing different things and find my strength. And I realize that that's not common. So I'm very thankful.
Okay. For anyone who wants to be in the career that you are, just give them a little bit of an advice.
I'd say for anyone who wants to be in any career, it's spend some time in self-awareness. More than being book smart, grow a little bit in self-awareness in terms of just knowing who are you, where do you want your life to go. Those deep questions, those questions that we don't really like. Sign up for a coaching program, sign up for therapy if you need it. Get a mentor, get someone who can work with you. Listen to my podcast called Therapyoutik. But find ways to really know who you are so that you get a job that connects to the core of who you are and what you want to accomplish. Because I feel like we spend most of our time at work. I mean, like, surely most of us, Monday to Friday, some of us up to Saturday, we are working. It better be something that you enjoy. So first, I feel like that's the first step. And then once you identify, fine, I want to contribute to poverty reduction, then explore. Based on what you've studied in school or what you're planning to study and poverty reduction, what are some of the things that align?
Okay, so thank you so much. I'm very grateful for the time that you've allowed us to record this. And to our listeners, I would like Koi to also share her podcast.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for having me here today. If you're interested in matters personal growth and just discovering what makes you tick, we have a podcast. It's called Therapyoutik. Therapy and then Outik. We are available on all podcasting platforms. So you'll see a blue background with a red heart. That's us, Therapyoutik. And maybe, do you want to put it in the show notes as well?
Yes, I'll do that.
Cool.
Great.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Thank you, guys. My podcast is also available in all podcast platforms. And see you in the next episode.
Kwaheri.
Bye.